start doing that for me. Put your Bert Kreischer. Kreischer.
I like it.
Want me to make you guys come? And Tom and I look at each other, and we're like, no.
Fair position, Bert.
What's favorite position, Bert?
Doggy style.
Good question.
I thought you were going to say pegged. I'm so glad you didn't say pegged.
No.
Joe Rogan and Bert Kreischer, two of comedy's wildest personalities and longtime friends, have shared countless wild stories, raucous laughs, and unfiltered conversations on the Joe Rogan Experience. But behind the scenes, things haven't always been smooth. Lately, things are getting interesting. In episodes like JRE 1446, 1712, and the heated 1990, you can sense a shift between Joe's no-nonsense call-outs on Bert's drinking and Bert's constant antics. Have Joe and Bert gone from comedy comrades to rivals? Welcome back to Podcast Crazy. Make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and join the conversation in the comments below. We want to hear your favourite moments from Joe and Bert's hilarious conversations and any crazy topics you want us to cover next time.
I mean, Australians and Florida people, there's a lot in common.
Fucking cousins.
Yeah, maybe that's what it is. Maybe it's like a certain breed of people that has to deal with dangerous environments. Like Australians have to deal with sharks, saltwater crocs, jellyfish.
They have 9
jellyfish can kill them.
The box jellyfish.
They kill people.
In this episode, we're going to discuss the relationship between Joe and Bert. But before we dive into this new age bromance, let's take a closer look at who these two comedy kings really are. Joe Rogan is a multi-talented figure, known for his work as a comedian, UFC commentator, and especially as the host of the Joe Rogan Experience, one of the world's most popular podcasts. On the other side today is Bert Kreischer, a stand-up comedian and podcaster with a larger-than-life personality, nicknamed The Machine, a moniker from his infamous college story about a wild trip to mob-run Russia. The two have shared countless laughs, exchanged controversial opinions, and shared deep moments of insight on Rogan's podcast. But lately, fans have noticed what seems like cracks in their friendship, leading many to ask what happened between Joe Rogan and Bert Kreischer.
Slam dunk contest, like, oh shit!
That's hilarious.
Oh my God.
It was cars just bouncing off the curb, and so we called the cops. And we told them, hey, there's all these cars, like 2 cars in a row, have come down this hill, and they're bouncing off the curbs. And so the cops came down the hill, and they fucking bounced off the curbs. These fucking dipshits. And we're watching them. And me and John are watching this car bounce off these curbs. I'm like, look at this fucking idiot. Did you not listen? We called you, man.
One was in Pearl Harbor.
Pearl Harbor, Hawaii?
Me, Tom Segura, and Russell Peters. And I go up, and I do okay, but maybe I was dirtier than I should have been, but it's totally fine, because the only rules they had were don't make fun of the Hawaiians. That was it. Don't make fun of the Hawaiians, and don't bring up Pearl Harbor.
What?
Tom's opening joke, he's like, man, there's a lot of fat people here. He's like, I heard island life was slow, but I didn't know they were talking about their metabolisms. Then he says, I got lost walking around. Luckily, a Japanese guy pointed out the directions. Man, those Japanese know this place like the back of their hand. And, I mean, he bombed so hard that when he got off, he was like that early sweats, like where you could, and he's like, oh, I'm pretty good. And you're like, you might want to go back to your nest and rot. You know, Tom's going to lose his shit. Let's start with Ari slipping me Molly.
What?
Let's start there.
You slipped him on?
Yeah.
Dude, what are you doing? What are you doing?
How much?
It's enough.
Interesting.
How did you do it?
Where was this?
It was at his house.
It was
at
at my house in
podcast.
front of my children.
Oh.
We had a shot
it's in a
before.
safe
We had a
place.
shot before we started. I had to empty out a capsule and fucking put it into a shot.
Are you out of your mind? Are you out of your mind?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was great.
No, it wasn't.
It was great.
It was not.
You're making me go on this fucking stupid shit.
Yeah, Joe, what kind of sociopath are we friends with? He did it to punish me.
Because I have to be sober. You don't give up Molly. You're only giving up alcohol.
I don't,
and
all right,
weed.
I don't do Molly because I just got back from the doctor and he said, hey, it's time to get healthy.
I agree.
And so, yeah.
I agree.
You don't think it's fucking crazy that you would do that?
A bit. Yeah, it's
You're
a
not
bit
doing
crazy.
it to like your fucking college roommate. You're doing
Did
it
you
to
even get the Molly tested? Like, where are you buying this Molly?
No.
I've done it for my favorite Molly dealer.
To understand the possible tension, let's rewind. Bert Kreischer and Joe Rogan have known each other for years, and Bert Kreischer, with his infectious energy and hilarious storytelling, became a regular guest on the show. Their connection was almost instant. Joe's love for authenticity and raw humour blended perfectly with Bert's off-the-wall personality. Together, they created some of the podcast's most memorable moments.
So listen, man, last time you were here, there's a fucking story about the Russian mob. We tease these bitches. we let these people right now on Twitter, they have been going crazy all day. Do not let Bert Kreischer get out of there without the Russian mob story, man.
Okay. I was taking Russian classes at Florida State. I thought they were Spanish classes because I thought they were Spanish classes because it was a noon class and I signed up and then I was like, fucking sweet, Spanish at noon? I could phone that in. And then I get there and they start writing in a new language, a new alphabet, and I'm like, all right, this clearly isn't Spanish. So then I said I'm going to leave, and the teacher's like, listen, don't leave, because if you leave, we can't have a class and I can't get my master's degree. But if you stick around, I'll talk to you after the class. I get done the end of the class. She's like, listen, don't, if you don't leave and I won't, and just show up at class, I'll give you a C. So I took Russian. I took Russian 1, 2, and 3 because these kids needed another guy in their class to take these classes. So then finally I take Russian 4 and we go to Russia. But this is Russia like when the mob ran Russia. Like, are you guys aware of that?
No.
Okay, in like the late 90s, mid 90s, the mob ran everything that had to do with Russia. Listen, this is Igor and Sasha. They will be ghosting us, but my teacher who was there with me was like, they're in the fucking mob.
Igor and Sasha. It's like a gay guy named Bruce.
And they were oh, it gets worse. So they're like, listen, whatever you do to our class, do not talk to them, do not interact with them.
Oh my God.
Do not engage them. They are only here to shadow us. So in my head, I'm like, fucking get to know these guys, right? Like, get a bottle of vodka, 6-pack of Baltica, knock on their door. Now, mind you, I speak no Russian at the time. No Russian, because I'd never studied in any of the classes. So, first night there, I knock on Igor and Sasha's room, and they're having a party in there. Like, fucking all their friends are in their room. They lived right next to me, and Kendra, my teacher, lived across the hall from Igor. So I knock on their door. Igor opens the door, and he looks like a fucking thug. He's got like a wife beater on, a cigarette, a beer, and he just looks at me in Russian and just goes, "Shto." And now, the second he says that, I start panicking. All the phrases I had in my head that I was trying to say all disappear, and all I say to Igor in Russian is, I am the machine. I'm the machine. And they're like, you're the machine. And I'm like, I'm the machine. I said that all fucking night with these guys. That's the only communication we had is I said, I'm the machine. And Igor and Sasha and I became best friends, right? We did everything together. If we went on a field trip, they would tell me, machine, you don't need to go on the field trips. Come drink with us. My Igor says to these Igors, this is the machine. If you give them alcohol, you'll have a great time. So Igor and Igor are like through the roof. They're like, awesome. Don't worry. We've taken care of you. We're sitting in first class. You're not sitting with your class. You're sitting in first class to Moscow. And I'm like, holy shit, this is what I'm talking about. And I bring another guy, John Bolshoi, Big John. I bring him with me to go sit in first class. And Big Igor says, machine, grab a bottle of, grab some bread, Kleb. And I'm like, that's bread. I'm understanding Russian. He's like, grab some siev, that's cheese. I'm like, I'm learning Russian. I'm looking at John who's standing behind me. He's like, yeah. He's like, grab vodka. I go, I know that one. And he's like, grab all the money, grab all the rubles. And I go, what? I look around and we're robbing the bar cart.
What?
The bartender's standing like this, everyone's standing against the wall, and I'm sitting behind the bar with a handful of rubles, a bottle of vodka, and a thing of bread going, holy fuck. John looks at me and he's like, just take it, let's go. Take all the fucking cash out of the bar cart.
And what is the bartender doing?
Not making eye contact.
Everyone just lets it happen.
It's the mob. They ran everything in Russia. Everything. Wow. Big Igor just starts pointing at me. And I'm like, oh, he's pinning this whole fucking thing on me? Like, I'm going down for the whole thing. And then the cop starts pointing at me and telling me, Zides, paidyom, or whatever he's saying. Come here, right now. So I fucking walk out. And it's that moment where you find the hash on your body, they find it and you're going to jail forever. That's that moment, that walk where your asshole gets cold and you're like, this is it.
Midnight Express.
Fucking, that's the moment. And I walk all the way across this little fucking trail to get to him. I get right up to the cop and the cop looks at me and he goes, I understand you're the machine. I was like, yeah. And he goes, tonight you party with us. I was like,
what?
All right. So then we went out and partied with these cops.
Over the years, the two shared some epic stories. In my opinion, one of the best has to be the infamous machine story, where Bert recalled his crazy vodka-fueled trip to Russia. That's exactly the kind of wild, fearless story Joe lives for. Rogan's platform gave Bert's outrageous personality a new audience, and fans immediately fell in love with their dynamic. Every episode with Bert felt like a reunion of two college buddies, where no topic was off limits and laughter was inevitable. And what do you think? Do you guys remember those moments where Joe would ask the audience to weigh in? Like he'd jokingly wonder if Bert would ever actually stick to a sober October challenge, or if he'd trade the booze for a healthier lifestyle. It felt like we were all part of the crew, and it was those candid, real conversations that made their episodes unforgettable.
I naively thought that when we did the first challenge, which was the weight loss challenge that led to Sober October group,
Yeah.
I really thought like you'd like stay on that path. You got so skinny.
I didn't care. I didn't care.
Yeah.
You have to want to do it.
November 1st.
I'll tell you right now, Sober October was an interesting experiment, but I will tell you, having done like 3 months or whatever I did, that 1 month is and the big difference is I stopped drinking on planes because I wasn't not drinking on a plane because of you three assholes. Like I was not drinking because of you guys. And then when you're not drinking and you go, I'm not drinking for me, it's very fucking different. And then then I got really comfortable on planes and I was like, oh, I can get through this.
Why can't scientists just make a booze that doesn't kill you?
Yeah.
Can't you fucking wizards
scientists?
out
Ask 'em.
there
There has to be.
There has to be.
make a booze that doesn't kill you?
So they say
There's
natural
gotta
wine is
be
better
a
for
way
you?
to, if you can make synthetic marijuana and turn it into pills, there's gotta be a way to take whatever the fuck it is that alcohol does good, that gives you that fun,
the sparkle,
carefree,
Sparkle, the buzz.
the sparkle
smile,
is so fucking cool.
the buzz,
Everything
smile,
feels right.
It's got to be.
boys.
It washes
Buzz
over you. The sun
smile.
sets and the day goes away.
Oh,
And you're just
bro.
like in a good mood. You get that buzz. You ride it.
A
you
nice
ride
meal. Like, how many times have we had meals on the road where we're having a couple of drinks, we're eating a
And
nice meal,
slowly goes
we're
up.
talking and we're laughing, and we're
It's a
just
lubricant.
enjoying ourselves.
God damn.
It's the best.
It's the best.
It's the best.
It's such a
The
fucking
post-show.
tool.
Their chemistry wasn't just for the podcast. These guys were true friends, often spotted hanging out together outside the studio, sharing laughs and even going on trips together. Bert and Joe were, without a doubt, the podcast world's dynamic duo.
The way I met you is the last way you should meet Joe. I went up to your house. You were at the door already, and you were like, hey, man. I go, hey, man, big fan. I got to see the deprivation tank, your dog, and the pool table. Then we need to get high, and then I'm ready to do this. And you were like, caught off guard. You're like, okay. You took me back. I met Johnny Cash. You took me down to the deprivation tank. We played around a pool, went out to that back where the swing set and the chickens ended up being. Smoked a joint. Red Band showed up. It changed my fucking life. You said, hey, man, you got to tell that machine story every time you get on stage. If you hadn't done that, I don't know what the fuck I'd be doing. If you know that, that's what happened that first night, right? So I tell the machine story to your podcast, and you go, it's one of the best stories. It's one of the best stories ever told. You go, ladies and gentlemen. You go, you tell it on stage? I go, no. You go, you got to start telling that on stage. Hey, everybody, and you talk to you go, he is from now on known as the Machine. You yell the Machine at every one of his shows until make him tell it on stage. So I go to Columbus the next week. I go do my first show Thursday, like maybe 120 people, not sold out. And they start chanting the Machine. And I go, hey guys, it's not a stage story. And this dude in the front row, Death Squad, ride or die. Death Squad, covered head to toe, goes, hey Bert, we understand it's not going to be funny, but you got to tell it if you're going to want it to be good. So go ahead, man. Come on, guys. Right. And everyone started cheering. You can do it, Bert. You can do it.
That's
I
hilarious.
told it, and they at the bar, they're like, we had to fake laugh a couple times, but I think it's a good story. Dude, cut from that to me and Tom doing our weight loss challenge, right? The first time we did our weight loss challenge, and that machine story went viral that week. That week, that machine story went viral.
The week you guys began the challenge or finished the challenge?
The weigh-ins, when he shaved my beard,
really?
The machine story went viral that fucking week. I say they go. I'm always say I'm the luckiest dude in the world. I think I work hard, but I'm very, very, very lucky. I'm more lucky than anyone in the world, right? Just I stand by luck. But man, the luckiest I've ever been is making friends with I remember you telling me, I remember you coming out and saying I didn't want to make friends. And you came out with a shot. We were at the Ice House. We were doing Death Squad Chronicles. Came out with a shot and a beer. You said, hey, you're a good guy. And I go, oh yeah, thanks. You're like, we're all trying to be your friend, man. And I was like, no, I got it. And you're like, no, like you just gotta let us. And I was like, no, I understand. You're like, no, that means like when we call you, call us back. And I went, yeah. And you're like, no, I don't think you understand what you're saying. You go, me, Joey, Ari, Tommy, we're all trying to be your friend, Bert.
Well, we have to tell you, I don't want to throw anybody under the bus. So as I explain this, I'm going to be very careful.
Okay.
The reason why we're saying that because we knew you had been friends with a tyrant. You were shell shocked. We're like, Bert, we're your real friends. We like you. We're not trying to tell you what to do or fucking scream at you or belittle you. We actually like you. We're gonna bust your balls, but everyone busts everyone's balls. That's half the fun.
That is a
Well, I
fucking
felt like you were
that's
like a
it.
beaten kid. We're like, Jesus Christ, we gotta lighten this Kreischer guy up.
I remember you guys call one Saturday. You go, what are you doing? I go, I'm on the treadmill. And you go, nah, come over to the ice house. And I said, oh, I'm good. And I hung up, right? And then Tommy called me back. And Tommy goes, hey, man, you got to let us try to be your friend. Fucking come to the ice house. Just come to the fucking ice house. And I went, and then I heard you on the, get over here. And so I fucking went over to the ice house.
We had
a
fun
fucking
from
blast,
then on,
dude.
from
Had
then
a
on.
fucking blast.
Yeah.
Melrose. And I go, that's not me. And then I was like, I looked
You
at
thought
the
your belly
moles.
was smaller than that?
That's me at like 220.
Right, but you at the time thought your belly was smaller than that.
I thought I was in great shape.
Like, I have legit the best shoulders.
I do. Hold on, I do. I have legit great shoulders. Like great fucking shoulders. Yeah.
No, you don't. Like, you remember that one time you said you could do the splits? You were like, "I'm gonna do
He
the
thought he
splits."
could.
I actually thought I might be able to pull one out. But more importantly, out of that whole look at those fucking that's fucking
That looks pretty good.
yeah. If you look at me, if I take my shirt off and just do like
No.
this,
No,
you go, yeah.
no, right there you look pretty good though.
Yeah.
But you got to know that you can't do the splits. Like, why'd you say that?
Because I thought I could pull it out. Same reason I said I could run a marathon with no training.
Yeah, but a
was like, fuck it.
marathon is like you can run 5 miles. I've seen you run 5 miles.
Yeah.
So just keep going.
My
Like,
best
the
part of
idea
that-
of doing the splits is crazy.
The best part of
Along the line, fans started noticing something different. It was subtle at first. An awkward laugh here, a slight eye roll there. As time went on, these moments became harder to ignore. Clips began circulating online with titles like awkward moments between Bert and Joe. Fans took to Reddit and Twitter, speculating on a possible feud.
Segura walks in and she lights up hot as fuck. She goes, Tom Segura. And he's like, hi. She was like, what are you doing here? And he's like, oh, we're just shooting a thing for my live event. She's like, I'm the biggest fan. And he's like, oh, really? And she's like, oh my God, wait, can I do some stuff with you? And he's like, well, we're all done. She's like, oh my God, would it be too much to ask if I get a picture? And he goes, sure. And he's like, anyone else? Do you want to get a picture with anyone else in the room? She looks at me and she's like, nah, just you. I'm a big fan. He's like, yeah. Looks at me, gives me a wink. They go over and she goes, all right, get on your knees, bitch. And he's like, huh? She's like, get on your fucking knees. So Tom gets on his knees and gets a picture with the dominatrix. And I'm dying fucking laughing. Going,
Get on your
I
knees,
was
bitch.
like, do you want
I'm
me
a
to take
big
the picture?
fan. I'm a big fan. Get on your knees, bitch.
And Tom, just because we were such in a dom mood, we'd been dominated all day. He just got on his knees and took the picture.
Oh my God. That's hilarious.
Yeah.
One of the most talked about examples was in episode 1712. In this episode, Bert starts a story, and Joe's reaction is, well, not what fans expected. Instead of engaging with Bert's usual enthusiasm, Joe appears distracted, even impatient. It also could have been the way he smoked the cigar. What do you guys think? Some interpreted it as annoyance, others thought maybe Joe was just having an off day. As soon as this episode aired, fans took to social media, dissecting every second of the clip. Is Joe tired of Bert? Is Bert taking it too far? They wondered if Bert's antics had become a bit too much, even for Joe Rogan. What do you guys think of it? Was the dominatrix story out of pocket, or did Joe actually have an attitude towards Bert?
A lot of times when I bring people to a green room, I go, hey, you don't have to talk, so don't talk. Like, don't feel a need to talk. Like, Joe talks, I talk, we're comedians, we've known each other. Like, you don't feel like you have to jump in. And I've had people jump in before, and you're like, oh, motherfucker. And
Well, the problem is it's in a green room.
Yeah.
So like it seems like we're just talking, but we're also warming up.
yeah.
Like we're having fun together, we're warming up. It's not like, we all went out to dinner. Of course everybody should talk. But it's not simply a conversation when you're in the green room right before a show. It's a warm-up time. And when you have casuals in the green room, it fucks things up because someone will be in the middle of something and some guy will be talking over him. You're like, Jesus Christ. Tony Woods had to tell the guy to shut the fuck up. We were in
Really?
the fucking same thing at Vulcan, and there was some young guy, and Tony was talking, and this guy wanted to talk over Tony Woods, who's like one of the greatest storytellers of all time. Of all time. And so Tony's in the middle of this amazing story with this giant smile on his face, and this dude's just and he finally has to go, hey man, will you shut the fuck up? Did you hear me talking? Like, what are you doing? I'm like, you got to get them out, man. You got to get these guys out.
Bunks. I got rid of the bed because I wanted to make sure that everyone felt equal. Because I asked them to live in there. I want them to know I'm willing to live like they are.
Oh.
And so we all have bunks. We have them condo style.
Bro, that's whack. Make those motherfuckers sleep in the bunk, and you get a fat throne, a beautiful bed with a golden door. You have a golden door.
I had on my first one. I had
with a knocker on it.
Fucking sweet bed with a bathroom, my own bathroom. It was a badass bus. And then when we did the outdoor shows last summer or 2 summers ago, whatever, during the pandemic, I got us all bunks. I was like, we're living on the bus. We're staying in a bubble.
How many guys?
Oh, we filled up. Everyone, every bunk.
How many
1,
people?
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
So 10 guys on a bus together, traveling across the country in a bus.
And a woman. My tour bus. My tour manager is a woman.
God.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Dude.
The shift wasn't only noticeable in one-on-one conversations. When Bert appeared on the podcast with other guests, such as comedian Tony Hinchcliffe on episode 1821, fans sensed an even greater tension. With a third party involved, there were moments where Joe seemed to side more with Tony than with Bert, especially when the conversation turned serious. The vibe between the three was a little different. Joe and Tony seemed to laugh together, while Bert often found himself trying to re-engage Joe. Some viewers saw this as another sign that the friendship was cooling off, with Joe appearing
underwater.
There's no benefit for Garth to go on the podcast.
Incorrect. First of all, they're very nice people. Both Tom and Christina are very nice people, and they'll be very.
I'm going to be devil's advocate.
Shut the fuck up for a second. I mean, no. Why no?
100% no.
Why? If he went on your podcast, I think it would turn around.
1,000%.
For Tom. No.
For Garth.
No, he's right. I'll tell you why.
Hang on. I'm gonna be. You guys
Why can't you let him talk for a second?
Because.
And with that quick preview, let's dive right back into Joe and Bert's growing dispute. What do you guys think is happening between the two comedy stars? In the next part, we will dissect some of the fans' wildest theories behind their sudden turn into frenemies. Stay tuned to find out.
If you cut out all bread, all pasta, all sugar, all bull, if you're just eating steak, just steak, your body will hit a level and you go, this is all I need, and then you won't want to eat more. But if I'm in that same mind space, and there's a steak there, but it's next to mashed potatoes with gravy, a bowl of pasta, ice cream, then I'm going to keep going, and I'm going to get another 7,000 calories.
Yes. One of the people that produces it, and she comes in and she looks at me and goes, you're done drinking. And I went, absolutely not. I said, you are not my flight attendant, so you can leave now or go get me another beer.
One of the most popular ideas is that their differences in lifestyle are becoming too significant to ignore. On one side, we have Joe, who is all about health, fitness, and discipline. He's a martial artist, an advocate for clean eating, and famously follows a strict diet regimen. On the other, there is Bert, who has built his brand on indulgence. He's the guy who loves beer and food, and is proud of his work hard, play hard lifestyle. While opposites may attract, some fans believe this core difference may be driving a wedge between them.
A fun thing watching people crest into stardom, like bust through, to see how they handle it. Which is a cautionary tale.
It's wild, man.
It's wild out there.
It's so fun.
Just kidding, Bert. Bert seems like he's having a great time.
Oh,
I remember when I called Bert, and Bert was on a motorcycle in Vietnam doing that stupid TV show. I go, dude, you need to be doing comedy. Quit that stupid show. You're too funny. You're too good. Come back.
Others believe that their careers are simply pulling them in different directions. Joe's podcasting empire is valued in the hundreds of millions of dollars, while Bert is still grinding in stand-up and podcasting. It's possible the two are on different wavelengths, not just in their personal lives, but in their professional lives as well.
Remember the first one I did with him, I had bits prepared.
Oh, jeez.
He's
not a bit guy.
No. Joe Rogan gives you the look when you do a bit in front of him, like a girl gives when you come in her and you're not supposed to. You just fucking me. Like, that's
Did you try to do a bit on my show?
dude, he would make you sit in the awkwardness and go, really? And so I was like, all right, never do it. And so in that one show, you can see it. The bit I did was about UFC. I think they should step up the stakes, and the one person wins when he can hold the other guy down in the ass. And Joe's like, why would you say that? And I was like, well, when you don't question it, it flows a little better. But how hard would you fight, Joe? And he goes, pretty hard. And I go, yeah, how great would it be? I mean, they'd be fights to the death. You wouldn't just, no one's tapping out.
Right.
I want to be unconscious when you me in the ass.
It is pretty apparent that the switch between them happened, from the first awkward podcast together to the lengthy ones that aired after that, until the awkward stage re-happened at the end. And fans have noticed the tension. Online discussions about the pair's dynamic have only intensified. Some think it's a normal part of any friendship. People change, grow, and sometimes drift apart. Others think it's a temporary phase. Social media has been filled with comments, theories, and wishful thinking that Bert and Joe will eventually work things out.
I go, please tell me we're seeing another cock right now. Pulls his pants down, fucking just as big, but lighter, like a lighter brown. And I'm like, holy shit. And I was like, you might want to go catch up with Ray, because I guarantee you they're calling the cops now. So they're sitting with, I swear to you, all my children, they're sitting with a hairless albino, okay? And I said, and now the crowd is like fucking in a fevered pitch. I go, that's funny. Out of all the dicks I wanted to see, it was yours. He stands up, gets on stage, takes his dick out, and it looks like a lighthouse. Just no grass, bright white, and they're flipping over fucking tables now, like fucking going nuts. And I was like, ladies and gentlemen, that's my show.
No matter where they stand today, there's no denying the impact Joe Rogan and Bert Kreischer have had on each other's careers. Joe's platform has introduced Bert to millions of fans who may not have discovered him otherwise. And Bert has brought a light-hearted, everyman touch to Joe's sometimes intense, intellectually charged conversations. They've made each other better, whether it's through laughs, debates, or their honest conversations. In an era where podcasts are everywhere, they've set a gold standard for what real, unscripted friendships on air can look like. So where do things stand now? Both Joe and Bert have been busier than ever, especially with the election day wrapping up. We've seen Joe doing historic interviews with Musk and Trump, while on the other side, Kreischer starred in and produced the film The Machine, which premiered in the spring of 2023, based on his signature stand-up set, recounting his true experiences with Russian mobsters while on a booze-soaked college trip. The Machine has been in the top 10 on Netflix since its release on the platform on September 23rd. Additionally, Kreischer wrapped the second annual Fully Loaded Comedy Festival that hit 16 of the most iconic ballparks and arenas across the country this summer. This just shows how Joe's podcast continues to pull in millions of views per episode, while Bert has his own projects and his stand-up career. Whether they're still close friends or have grown apart, their bond has already left a lasting mark. Friendships are complex, and even the closest ones go through ups and downs. Maybe Joe and Bert are just in a rough patch, or maybe their lives have taken them in different directions. Whatever the case may be, fans will continue to root for their friendship, remembering the countless laughs and stories they've shared with us. What do you think? Are Joe and Bert really feuding, or is this just a temporary bump in a long friendship? Drop your thoughts in the comments section below and let us know. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe for more deep dives into the dynamics of your favorite podcast hosts.